Oops, looks like I talked to this guy without bringing in the intro, but who cares about intros? Let's just get straight into this thing because I am hyped for this episode just as much as you guys are, I am sure, because who's not hyped for a Skylanders Giant Locke here on the channel for Ignite the Fire. Yeah, that's me, the cringy singing SkyTuber channel with the best name ever, because you guys got to admit Ignite the Fire is a great name. Either way, what is a Skylanders Giant Locke? I'm sure I can talk about it right after we are introduced to the Oracle right here. How awesome. Oh, never mind, looks like I can just skip the cutscene instead. How silly of me. Okay, so here's what we can do instead. We can just enter back into the level, and this time, let's not skip the cutscene. So basically what I'm saying right here is we're going to reattempt this time with a little less fail, hopefully. Second time's a charm, right? So let's actually listen to this cutscene this time and not drop my controller so it lands on the skip button.
My name is Octavius Plotimus, and you are Flynn, Callie, Ernest, and of course, Swan.
I love the way how he acknowledges the exact Skylander you're playing as. And it's also the way how I figured out that Camo is actually pronounced Camo, not Camo.
Yes, even humble pilot and all, Skylands. People tend to know you.
Even though that's the official pronunciation, and you don't need to use the official pronunciation, you just need to use one that best suits you, I suppose. Because pronunciation is one of those things which is open to interpret and not a universal thing.
Entrance into the arcane lost city of Argus. I can grant you this wish, provided
here we go with the cloud talk again.
this Skylander can pass a series of trials. They are for my research. Your life forms are truly fascinating to me, and I wish to study the choices you make.
But if you're all-knowing, don't you already know how someone would respond to these trials?
While it is true that I can see into the past, and to some degree, the present, I cannot see into the future. At least not yet. That is the nature of my research. So, if you'd like to begin, I suppose your friends can wait back at the ship.
Well, you know, second time is the charm, so I did manage to do it the second time around with a little less fail. And I mentioned previously about dropping my controller, because basically what I did is I dropped the controller and it just so happened to land on the skip button, which was inconvenient to say the least, but hey, at least you guys still got the chance to see the cutscene, I suppose.
One path leads to Choppies. The other, spiders.
Spiders.
Pick the path that leads to what you fear most.
I fear neither of them, but we're going to go for Chompies, purely because the Chompies are slightly easier, and as always, we want to take as little risk as possible and get as high reward from it as possible, nevertheless. Low risk, high reward, end of the day, but it is Skylanders of the life element being strong on its own, so that means we've got to swap up with T-Rex because he's a giant, which represents such an element, nevertheless. Okay, I'm officially afraid of the bark, Mr. Hulk of the Skylanders franchise, because as I did mention in the previous episode, this guy is virtually the Hulk of Skylanders, which is why I want to go back to him, because I love the fact that he's the Hulk of Skylanders. I gotta find some way to join my best passions together, right? Okay, there's that fool taken down at long last. Elbow drop! Oh yeah, baby, I feel like a real life wrestler right now. Okay, let's finish this guy off. Hoo-yah! Hi-yah! Hoo-yah! Okay, nice. Finished off he is. And T-Rex is actually kind of much more lower than what I was hoping he would be, but hey, he's still fine overall, I suppose, and that's what matters. Because again, it doesn't matter how much damage you take along the way. In fact, what matters is that we still have health left in the end. Because that's the thing, with Locks, it's not as important how hard you can deliver the hit, it's how hard you can take the hit. And that's a great reference to one of the best movie franchises ever, known as the Rocky franchise. That's a great franchise, nevertheless.
Research data here. Next is the trial of heart. Here.
Okay, for this one, we're not going to go with one I prefer, we're going to go for one which I am.
Would you rather be a small fish in a big ocean? Or a large fish in a small pond?
So what I say I am is basically the fact that I'm a very, very big person in what feels like a very, very small world. So that's what makes me a big fish in a small pond, needless to say. So yeah, next up we have the air element, which which means we got to bring it in swarm once again. But although I am a big fish in a small pond, I would way prefer to be a small fish in a big ocean. That's what I would prefer, nevertheless. But then again, I suppose being a big fish in a small pond is much more better for security reasons, because there'd be nothing left to mess with you, and there'd be less of things. Because basically, with you being big and all, it would make you much more intimidating, which means that less people would want to mess with you. And the fact that it's a small pond will mean that there's less things to worry about when it comes to your safety. But being a small fish in a big ocean means there's more things out to get you, and you're even more weaker in society. So it's literally up to your choice and heart. But the interesting thing is that, oh no. The interesting thing about this, though, is that someone who's small would probably say that they prefer to be a big fish in a small pond, whereas someone who's big would probably say that they prefer to be a small fish in a big ocean. Because the thing is that no matter what you are, you always tend to want to be the other thing. So, like, if you're small, you want to be big, and if you're big, you want to be small. That tends to be what it's like, and that's because as humans, we want to be the most perfect we can be. The thing is that we feel like we cannot be perfect ourselves, so we need to find other ways of being perfect, whether that's finding some way to make ourselves tall or to make ourselves small in some cases, because some people think size gives you advantages or disadvantages, and newsflash for you, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter how tall you are. What matters is the content of your character, but really. Okay, let's take this fool down. Okay, this fool is down. Nice, there's them down as well. Okay, let's quickly get through these crushers, because these crushers are annoying considering that we have a huge hitbox, and they will crush you if you let them have a chance. But the thing is that because you're giants and you weigh a lot, you will hold the crushers down as long as they remain down, so that's going to make things for your hitbox a whole lot more easier, because you won't be as crushed as easily, fortunately, because if you didn't have your weight to your advantage, then giants would be crushed way too easily by those crushers due to their big hitboxes. And of course we're going to preview Eyebrow. He's part of our team, is he not? Yeah, this guy is awesome, nevertheless. Oh yeah, I remember when his laser was blue. That was a long time ago, considering that I fully upgraded him since then. Several times, in fact, because I've upgraded his regular giant form twice after I accidentally reset it once. And then I also leveled up his small form from Skylanders Chapter 10.
You've probably never thought about this before, but would you rather channel water?
Okay, this is another one of those where it's not a would you rather, but it's what I am, because I have clearly tamed fire, because at the end of the day I am Ignite the Fire, so of course we're going to go for the fire path. It's time to ignite the fire, nevertheless, and we're going to ignite the fire with Hothead, considering it is, the element of the area is fire. I mean, like, what do you expect if you're heading into a fire elemental zone? Of course you're going to get the element of the fire popping up, right? Either way, here comes an ambush, and I'm definitely glad I chose fire, because the Eruptor evil minions are slightly easier than the other ones, and not to mention Hothead I feel like can take down these guys easier than what Thumbpack could take down the other ends, due to the fact that he is a ranged character. Okay, now I've got to watch out these dudes. Okay, now let's finish these dudes off. And finished off, one of them has been, so now it's just time for us to finish the last one, nevertheless. And the last one has been finished as well. Oh, Dorrit hit some nasty hits at the end there, but what matters is that we stay standing until the end. So let's hit the teleporter and see what trial is next.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I am wonderful indeed.
Great. Next, we have the trial of knowledge. Tell me, are you a Locke master?
Definitely light beam perfectionist, purely because I definitely prefer the light beam bath, because it's much more of an interesting puzzle nevertheless. It's a puzzle which I prefer doing because it's a puzzle which I find more fun to do. So yeah, let's head down the trial of knowledge with a reflection indeed from the crystal reflection thingies nevertheless, because crystals reflect stuff like this, I suppose, is basically what I'm saying right here. Unfortunately, we do not have our giant of the earth element alive still, because unfortunately he was defeated back in chapter 9, if you recall correctly. But what we do have is Hothead still available to us, so we're just going to remain as him for the remainder of this area, nevertheless. But hey, it doesn't matter too much, because normally I would be worried about this, considering that Master Hothead right here, well, I'm calling him a Master, I don't know, but Master Hothead here, normally I would be worried, considering he is at fairly low health, especially for a giant. Damn it, not what I wanted to do. But there isn't actually any combat in this area, so that's why I'm saying we're pretty much safe as it is, because if there is no combat, then there is nothing to take damage from. So safe we are, nevertheless. Other way, let's finish off the rest of this little beam. Perfection, nevertheless, as the Oracle would have it implied. And this is why this puzzle is much better, because it's much more unique and much more, much better designed, even, I should go as far as to say. So now that we have the exit and availability to us, let's take the exit without further ado.
Now, we're down to the final trial.
The final one already? That was quick.
Very excited for this one.
So guys, it looks like we came into the level with 7 Skylanders, and it looks like we're leaving it with 7 Skylanders. Once again, how great is that?
That will be good data for my research too. So, either way works.
Either way, if you guys recall back to the previous story scroll,
The power that comes.
what happened in it is that I was talking about the fact that sometimes doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a reward every time, can be referred to as insane, but it can lead to a special kind of reward. Well, this is what I was referring to, because basically, all the rewards are always different from this path, which basically means that every single time you come back to the Oracle level, you will have something different to do, whether that's different areas to explore or different rewards to earn. So coming back here over and over will indeed lead to special rewards by doing different paths each time. Either way, we're going to go for knowledge right here, purely because Hothead is maxed out on gold as it is, so it's not like he can exactly claim anymore. That and also knowledge, I feel like would be more use to us, because with knowledge you can gain money, or wealth I should even say. With knowledge you can gain wealth. And apparently a bowling pin hat is knowledge, so if it's knowledge, of course we're going to wear it. Hothead kind of needs that knowledge, considering that all he's got but brains is fire, so he's got 5 for brains with the flesh. But either way, it's kind of interesting in the fact that, you know, knowledge can get you wealth, but at the same time wealth can get you knowledge, so no matter what path you can take, you can always get the other path as well, if you take the path that you've chosen wisely and use it the way how you want to use it. Because either way gives you power. With knowledge comes power, and with wealth comes power.
That will allow you access to the lost city. Just my way of saying thanks.
That's a big thanks right there. So thanks.
All this is waiting for you back at the Dready Isles.
Magically, thank you, Mr. Oracle. Just emphasizing the magic in Skylands.
My many doors.
Would it be interesting if the Oracle was like a Skylander though? It would make a very interesting Skylander nevertheless.